Hello and welcome to another video. So today I am going to be doing the Loki Book Tag, which was created by Eric over at Break Even Books. I have only very recently discovered Eric's channel, and this was the reason I discovered his channel, which is kind of perfect because Loki. Obviously I am being extra as hell and wearing my Loki dress, even though it is super hot, and this is a long sleeved wintry dress. But that's fine, this is me, I'm extra as hell. So I am gonna go through these. The first one I'm kind of cheating, and I have no regrets about cheating. So let's just get stuck in. I of course will leave Eric's channel and Twitter in the description box below, along with the link to the original tag that he created for this. So let's go. So first up we have Mischief, a book with a mischievous character, and this is the one I'm cheating because I am going for Loki, Agent of Asgard, the complete collection. This is the Marvel comic collection and it's Loki, so of course it's mischievous, and I know it's cheating, but I don't care. I wanted to get this on here because I read it very recently and absolutely loved it. So yeah, and obviously Loki is very mischievous, hence why this is one of the prompts in this tag. Next up is variant 1, show a book you have more than one version of. So for this, I'm going for the book that I have the most copies of, and I'm just going to grab them all and show you all. This is my collection of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So we have the standard edition with the naked cover that has Luke on. So we have that. I'm going to put these down as I do this, otherwise that's going to awful. Next we have the Forbidden Planet version, which is the blue, and this has Addie on. Next we have the Illumicrate version, which is black and silver, and I'm obsessed, and it has both of them on. Then we have the Waterstones exclusive, which is kind of similar to the main cover, apart from this is more gold and it has the gold edges, and it has again Addie on. Then we have the Dutch version, which, yes, I know I can't read Dutch, but that's gorgeous, and it has this cat on. Then we have the Owlcrate version, which is just this naked cover. It's got rose gold on it and I love it, and I can't bring myself to take it out of the plastic because it's too pretty to risk getting damaged. And then finally we have the standard US hardcover. Nothing really special about it, apart from it's got this on the naked cover, this embossed, yeah, embossed, I'm going to say embossed. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have just seen that they have revealed the cover for the Hungarian version, which is absolutely stunning. I have also pre-ordered the anniversary edition of Waterstones, which is this, but it's like white and silvery grey, I think. So yeah, I have no control and I'm aware. Next up we have variant 2, show a book where you have multiple book editions in the series. This one was really hard for me because I am one of these people that has to get matching editions, and I have 2 where it's slightly not the same, so I've picked one of those, and that is the Simon Snow trilogy by Rainbow Rowell. So I have the first book in paperback, and then I have the second and third book in the hardback with the beautiful sprayed edges. I don't think this was ever made into a hardback in the UK, so I'm never going to have a completely matching set. I did used to have this in a hardback, but it was a completely different cover, and I wanted the covers to at least be matching because I love the artwork style for these covers, but yeah, they don't completely match. Next up we have Prune, a book that you recently got rid of or are planning to get rid of. And for this I am picking The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I do still have this, it's in a box because it is on my eBay for sale, because I did not enjoy this and I am so sad about it. Like honestly, really sad. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. I've spoken in my vlog and my wrap up about how I didn't really enjoy this, but it did get a 2-star, so we're going to move on. But yeah, I am getting rid of this one. Next up we have Enchantment, a book that had you under a spell, a book that you couldn't put down. And for this I'm picking Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I started reading this and I read the first like 200 pages and I was feeling pretty slumpy, and then I don't know what it was, but I picked it up and I just literally could not put it down, to the point I finished it. And this is like just over 600 pages and I finished it in a couple of hours and I couldn't put it down. I started reading it on sprints and I ended up turning the sprints off because I was just reading. I didn't want to stop at the end of a sprint, so I just devoured it in a couple of hours because so much was happening and I was enjoying it so much, and I physically couldn't close it. And then it was like gone midnight and I was tired, but I was finishing this book. So definitely Obsidio for this one. Next up we have Timekeepers, name a series that has stood the test of time. Now this is hard because there's not many that I think could have stood the test of time. Like, even if they're series I do still enjoy, there's not many. But one I do think has is the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. This, I checked, in the first book come out in 2009. Well, that's what it says inside the book. So these are like over a decade old. And I just think I've only recently read them, and I think that they have definitely stood the test of time. I can't speak on Brandon Sanderson's other books because apart from these, I've only read Skyward, which is a fairly recent book. But I think these definitely have stood the test of time and they're still very much loved to this day. Obviously, because I've only just read them last year. So yeah, I think these work really well for this. Next up we have Asgard, a book with royalty or godlike figures, and I am using the American Royals duology by Catherine McGee. Obviously, royals, royalty. This follows basically if America had a royal family, and it's just so good. It's very dramatic, and you follow mostly Beatrice, who is the oldest of 3. And she is obviously next in line to inherit the throne, and a lot of stuff happens. And her younger brother and sister, who are twins, they, especially the sister, they sort of like try and rebel a bit, because obviously they're not next in line for the throne, because if B was to have kids, they would be next in line before them. So they're pretty much never gonna be king or queen. But I loved these. I thought they were amazing, and considering I don't tend to read this sort of book, I absolutely adored it, and I do highly recommend these books because they're brilliant. And royalty. Next up we have Daggers, a book that cut you deep and made you emotional. Now this could really count for a lot of books, but I'm choosing the one that I think is the book I have cried more than any other book, and that's Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. Now obviously I cannot say why because spoilers, but something happens at the end of Lord of Shadows, which is book 2, and it's basically a main point that keeps getting brought up throughout this book, and it rips my heart out when it actually happens in Lord of Shadows. But then when it's not a main plot point, but there is like important parts in this that are brought up, like bring it back up, it's just a constant heartache. And I've never cried so much at a book than I have every time I've read this. And yeah, just be prepared for your heart to be ripped out. And then finally we have Illusions, a book that you bought because you thought the cover was pretty, but it ended up being bad. Now this is a really hard one for me because I've been quite lucky in the sense that even if a book is really pretty, I won't specifically only pick it up for the cover. I will only pick it up if the cover's pretty and I like the blurb. And the book I've chosen, I don't think it was bad. I just didn't like it as much as I thought I would, and I don't think it was as good as it sounded. And that is The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. Now I am not saying this book is bad. I don't think it's a bad book. but this is the only one I could think would even closely fit this prompt, because I felt, I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't feel like it was good enough. And that sounds really bad, I know. And I did like the book, but I just thought it was going to give me more than it did, but it didn't. So that's why I'm using this for this prompt. But I do want to just like, disclaimer, this book I do not think was bad. Like, I did enjoy this book, but it's the only book that I think I can actually pick for this to fit it as closely as I can, because I've been quite lucky with liking the books I pick up for the covers, because I do know what I like. So yeah, but that was all of the 9 questions. 9? Yeah, 9. Thank you so much, Eric, for creating this tag. I loved picking out my books for this. I have loved watching other people's picks. I actually discovered this tag through Ro over at Wandering Through Worlds. So again, I will link her channel in the description box below. But I have seen on Twitter a few other people doing this as well. So now that I have done this, I'm going to go and watch some more people's, because currently I have only watched Eric's and Ro's. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.